Thank you very much to the nation and the awards committee for this wonderful honor, which I know my father was very excited to receive. I started reading the New York Times at a young age and made a habit of it, but my father always would say at various points, repeatedly during my adult life, "Are you getting the nation?" And sometimes I would say, yeah, I'm getting. But inevitably, a week or so later, a copy would show up in my mailbox, and he made sure that I was reading The Nation, because that was the place where you'd really get the real goods. My father was an icon and a hero to many. I want to tell you a little bit about him as a human being. He was an amazingly caring and loving father, husband, friend, grandfather. Two of his grandkids are here today, my kids, Georgia and Noah. He was always very interested and really thought a lot about the intersection between the political and the personal, and how it impacted his own life, because he was consumed with politics, and activism was his vocation from a very young age. I have memories of him in Atlanta as a very young boy, the sound of typing, late into the night as I went to sleep. And in his plays, he wrote about this struggle, and I think he solved it, because he was no less committed to his family and his friends as he was to the movement. He enjoyed simple pleasures. He was hugely into food, tennis, baseball, especially the Red Sox, movies, had a very active Netflix subscription in later years. He loved people. He was always, whenever he spoke anywhere, he would be thronged by people, and he was always the last person to leave. You could never get him out of a room. He thrived on it. He was approached everywhere he went, and he enjoyed it, and he never gave anyone the cold shoulder or the brush off. Others of us were tugging at his arm, trying to get him out of there, but not him. And he was incredibly approachable on all levels. He had many correspondences with prisoners and just all kinds of people in all walks of life. He was a terrible driver. He was never quite comfortable with mechanical objects. He couldn't swim very well, but he loved the water. He embraced technology, although he never quite mastered it. I discovered in recent years that a really tangible way that I could express my love for him was to become his 24/7 personal tech support system. And I would get these calls, "Are you busy? I have a computer question." And we would go through it. My dad had two essential messages that I think come through all of his work. One is that war is never the answer. And he was unequivocal about that. He felt that there were, myths about good wars, and that there really were no good wars. And the other essential message was that people joining together can make a difference. The question today, one important question might be, is whether that force for change is coming from the left or the right. Are the Tea Party activists working from the Howard Zinn playbook? Or is it a phony movement manufactured and funded by the same institutions of corporate and political power that always seek to advance their own agendas? Either way, it is up to us to keep our movement moving. Where did the energy go that was generated in the last election? My dad liked to remind us that Obama is just a politician, and so we are going to be disappointed. We can't let that disappointment become an excuse for disengagement. Howard's message again and again was that electoral politics are a distraction from the real work of activism. We can't expect Obama to do all the heavy lifting. It's up to us. I am going to finish with a wonderful poem, really part of a poem, it's not the whole thing, from Marge Piercy, who is one of his favorite poets. And these words, I think, express that sentiment best. Alone, you can fight. You can refuse. You can take what revenge you can, but they'll roll over you. But two people fighting, back to back, can cut through a mob. A snake-dancing file can break a cordon. An army can meet an army. Two people can keep each other sane, can give support, conviction, love, massage, sex. Three people are a delegation, a committee, a wedge. With four, you can play bridge and start an organization. With six, you can rent a whole house, eat pie for dinner with no seconds, and hold a fundraising party. A dozen make a demonstration. 100 fill a hall. 1,000 have solidarity and your own newsletter. 10,000 power and your own paper. 100,000 your own media. 10 million your own country. It goes on one at a time. It starts when you care to act. It starts when you do it again after they said no. It starts when you say we and know who you mean. And each day you mean one more. Thank you.